The bodies of 9 crew members from fishing vessel Argos Georgia have been recovered and 4 remain missing, presumed deceased, after the vessel was reported to be taking on water 200 miles east of Stanley. On the afternoon of Monday the 22nd of July, Falkland Islands Maritime Authority received a distress signal from the vessel with 27 crew on board. At 4 p.m. the same day, the crew were forced to abandon ship. A rescue operation with the BIFSI A400, BIFSI search and rescue helicopters, FPV Lillibut and 2 fishing vessels were deployed. MLA Jack Ford gave a public statement on the rescue operation during this week's sitting of the Legislative Assembly.
The BIFSI A400M Atlas was the first asset on scene and was able to track and report the positions of the life rafts. Between the BIFSI Atlas and the A330 Voyager aircraft, overwatch was maintained overnight and into Tuesday. Meanwhile, FPV Lillibut, the Falkland Islands fishing vessel Robin M. Lee, and the Chilean fishing vessel Puerto Toro also responded to the incident and made best speed to the location overnight. That evening, operating at extreme range, a search and rescue helicopter from the BIFSI search and rescue flight, operated by Bristow's helicopters, attempted to recover personnel from the scene, but the attempt was unsuccessful in the face of extremely challenging weather conditions at maximum range and very limited time on scene. The helicopter returned to Stanley Airport to refuel prior to a second attempt, but the weather worsened further. The rotary wing SAR operations were suspended. On arriving at the scene early on Tuesday, the 3 vessels immediately commenced search and rescue operations that continued throughout the day and into Wednesday.
14 crew members were rescued and 9 bodies recovered on Tuesday the 23rd of July. 13 of the 14 rescued arrived in Stanley on board the FPV Lillibut on Wednesday afternoon and were taken to the Lighthouse Seafarers mission to be medically assessed by KMH staff. The 14th survivor and the bodies of 9 deceased crew members returned to Stanley on board the Robin M. Lee and the Puerto Toro on Thursday. Their next of kin have been contacted by the fishing vessel company, and a formal end to the search and rescue operation was declared at 7:30 a.m. on Wednesday. Follow-up search operations for those missing, presumed deceased, continue, and on Thursday afternoon, an aircraft conducted a search of the area in order to enable further searches by passing vessels over the next few days. Members of the Legislative Assembly held a minute's silence and expressed their condolences to all those who were involved in the incident.
Our hearts break for the crew of the Argos Georgia and their families and their friends. The unimaginable grief and horror that has been endured by the crew of the Argos Georgia and those on the front line of the rescue. I thought Jack's update earlier outlined the situation, but still outlined it really well, but still hearing it read, it was very difficult to hold back tears, and we offer our completely heartfelt condolences to everyone involved in the matter. It's a disaster that escalated in the worst of conditions, and the bravery of the Falkland Islands governments, the Lillibut, the UK MOD search and rescue crews, and crews of the Puerto Toro and Robin M. Lee are particularly thanked today. But we carry in our minds hope and pray for those in peril on the sea.
This has been an absolutely tragic event, and it's been felt very deeply by the entire community, and I'm sure perhaps very profoundly by those in our fishing industry for whom it is even closer to home. I think, as has been said, we sometimes forget that we live in the middle of a very hostile and an unforgiving ocean, and this does bring it very much home.
My sympathy goes to all affected by this tragedy, especially the families and colleagues of those who were lost. The event shatters lives in many locations, and those involved in the rescue and disaster will carry some of that for a long time, and we owe them a great debt of gratitude.
Mr. Speaker, I'd just like to echo the remarks made by the other honourable members, and to extend to families, friends and all those involved in this terrible incident this week, the tragedy of the MV Argos Georgia, the thoughts and prayers of all of those of us in NPC.
The Acting Commissioner of South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands, Dave Morgan, released a statement on the incident during the sitting of the Legislative Assembly. This was read on his behalf by the Chief Executive, Andy Keeling.
The warmth and solidarity of the people of the Falkland Islands and of the wider maritime and seafaring community around the world during this difficult time has been truly remarkable. It is our hope that the unwavering support and compassion expressed will offer comfort and strength to those affected by this devastating event. We stand together, united in our grief and support, honouring the lives lost and the efforts of all those involved.
We extend our heartfelt condolences to all the family and relatives of the crew members involved. On the morning of the 29th of July, Falkland Islands government released the following update. Over the weekend, MV Pharos SG and one other vessel conducted a search of the Datum area. This search unfortunately provided no further results of anyone missing or debris. Vessels travelling through the Datum area over the coming weeks are being encouraged to look out for any signs of those still missing or debris and report them to the Maritime Authority. On the 27th of July, Argos Georgia, owner of the Georgia, released the following statement. The tragic events of Monday the 22nd of July leading to the loss of 13 of our officers and crew have been well documented and communicated by the Falkland Islands government. Today, all bar one of the survivors have left the Falkland Islands on a special flight kindly provided by the government of Spain. Our remaining colleague will be on his way home shortly. On arrival in Galicia, our Spanish nationals will be returned to their families and the non-Spanish nationals will be looked after by us in Madrid and flown to their home countries as quickly as possible. Our fallen colleagues will soon leave the Falklands in the care of the coroner and after formalities in the United Kingdom have been completed, will be returned to their loved ones. The fishing industry is traditionally based on families. Argos Georgia is a family company in all meanings of the word, and this week we have lost brothers, fathers and sons.